What up, y'all? I hope everybody is doing well. I am. I'm out of work pretty early tonight, which I am just over the moon about. I'm going to make a steak and baked potato, and I've got that marinating and potatoes in the oven, so I'm a happy gal. We are here to discuss our anchor message for the week. I was going to try to actually film this earlier today before work, but it didn't quite work out today. But I am going to experiment with filming during the daytime. If I can switch my schedule up just a little bit, I think that might be good. And I think it would be good for our general timing with the structure. But yeah, the only reason I haven't so far is because I usually use most of my daylight hours. And this is just a good way to utilize the evening hours. But I think with my writing project that I have right now, I can switch those up because it's kind of like a second draft kind of thing. So I'm going to experiment with it, you guys, and hopefully that'll make our content more consistent, which is the goal. And yeah, if there are any kind of videos you want me to do talking deeper about some of the subject matter that we discuss, let me know in the comments. I know that someone had recently commented about the creation phases. And so there are, through the lens of Kabbalah, looking at manifestation, it's referred to as the creation, or the phases of creation. And so there's 4 phases of creation. Creation phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so it's cyclical, right? And you can kind of bounce around. It's not always linear. And so I think someone was having a difficult time understanding the context of creation phase 3. And I thought maybe I should do a series on those creation phases. So yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see kind of some things like that. And while we're talking shop, if you would subscribe to the channel, that would be so awesome. I would love to grow the channel. I'd love to get out into the algorithm. And so the more subscribers, the better. I'm trying to get to my first 1,000. So you guys jump on in and join me. Also, like this video if you enjoy it. If you hate it, you can take the like back, but just go ahead and like it if you're thinking about it. And comment, let me know what's resonating or if you have any questions. And I know I've been a little busy lately, and so I tried to get into the app today and answer a bunch of comments that I could, and I will do the other half tomorrow when I get a chance. All right, so let's get into the reading. So on Sunday nights, we do our weekly energy oracle forecast, and we give the sort of like energetic spiritual weather report for the week. Then on Mondays, we do our anchor message, which is today. And so if you don't already, you can follow me at Liz_Taylor_Magick on Instagram, and the link will be in this description box below. But on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I do our posts there during the day, and then we come on here later and we discuss them in more detail. So our anchor message is sort of like word from headquarters up above. It's like our spiritual assignments for the week. It's like what we're going to be working through in soul school. And I've been using the wild unknown archetypes for that to kind of nail our lessons, and then we've been clarifying with tarot cards. So our first card for Monday was the vow, which that had been coming up over the last couple of months every once in a while, followed by the stone, followed by the eternal child. And then underneath the vow, we have Knight of Pentacles. Underneath the stone, we have the Feminine King of Pentacles. And so in this particular deck, this is the Mystical Moments Tarot. The author and creator included a feminine king for each court, or for each suit in the court cards. And so to me, how I interpret this is that, you know, you've got your page, and then you ascend into the knight and you mature from the knight into the queen, and then you go further into the subject matter of that suit, and the self-mastered aspect is usually represented by the king. He's the most in leadership, the most in control. He's the leader of the kingdom. So the feminine king, however, to me is a step further. And that represents a certain level of ascension in your self-mastery within that element. Because this is the combination of the divine masculine and feminine energies within the self. And it's like each of us has our own unique balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. And so it is our lifelong journey to try to figure out and do the process and the transformational work of bringing those forces into the prime unique balance for us. And so that's not just like to do with gender energy. It's to do with like deeper supernal primal forces of like like pure masculine energy being like absolute unadulterated dynamism. Whereas feminine energy is a more, it receives that dynamism, and it contains and it gives shape and structure and an order. And so it's the womb that can birth idea and creativity. So it's also, intuition and connection with that spiritual self, with the internal realms. Fluidity and mastery within emotion and being a nurturer, right? Whereas that masculine energy can take charge and take action and express and give and share, whereas the feminine has to be the receptive, the passive, not necessarily in a toxic level of passivity, but enough to be able to cooperate with the masculine energy, right? So it's about temperance. It's about integrating those. It's not about one or the other, or like all of one sometimes and all of one in the other. It's more about integrating them. Like if you were putting hot water with cold water and like putting them together to make a more tepid water. Or if you were mixing tea and lemonade to make an Arnold Palmer. You're mixing those energies. So, okay, and then underneath the Eternal Child, we got the Judgment card, which is like, I feel like Judgment and Hierophant are two of the cards in the major arcana that end up getting a lot of, like, they're up for interpretation in a lot of decks. And so whenever I have a card that comes into question that can be vague, or like there's like mixed reviews on what the meaning is, my core like reference guide for tarot to me, and the one that I always resonate with the most, is Eileen Conley's interpretation of Rider-Waite metaphysical symbolism. So I'm going to go back and read like her interpretation of upright judgment, like the classical interpretation, when we get to this card and talk about it. Yes. And then our final little bookendy was Ace of Pentacles. So it's all leading somewhere good. So overall, I feel like looking at the vow, the stone, and the Eternal Child, just this cluster of archetypes together, it's like I feel every week has really been building upon the last, and every reading really builds upon the last. And so recently, it's like we've come through this huge overhaul at the beginning of the year, up to spring, the culmination of chaos through eclipse season that stripped you away of anything left that was really in the way. And now it's like the dust is kind of settling, and there's still this like processing all of that ending out, but we're really starting to clear it, and we're starting to get on the other side of it, and we're starting to heal. And so the kind of energy for the year to get launched really just started in the summer. And since then, it's like on a month by month basis through this year, it's like we're going through these different initiations, these different sort of like phases where we're like base camp, our mission control is getting ready for shuttle launch. And so, you know, each system has got to get fired up in a certain order to warm it up, right? And each builds upon the other. So I feel like the last week or two, we've been really in like this phase of where the transformation has been really taking hold. And in the initiations that we've been going through, it's like there's a part of us that has become awakened to the degree where we are almost like the detached observer, observing the self within these new scenarios, within these new situations that probably have a lot of familiar similarities, because it's like the universe is always presenting you with on-brand challenges, right? You know, true to all your patterning from the past. And these are the things that we heal, that we take with us through our lives. Like they're never going to be totally off, you know, like we're never going to be totally over that. These are like lifelong kind of assignments. But it's about like gradual integration and healing. And so giving yourself like grace about not being perfect, and you're not like inherently wrong or bad. It's just that everyone's allotted their own share of things that they work on in a lifetime. So we're never going to be perfect, and we don't need to be. And part of, you know, being a human being on earth is being equally divine and human, and embracing and accepting it all. And so we are seeing the evidence of the transformation. And in a way, we're like, whoa, I can really see like how far I've come in the healing that I've had. But at the same time, there's this dualistic nature where now that we're starting to get into this embodiment of this up level, we're getting that angsty feeling again, like, oh, I want to be at the top of my game. Because whenever you progress in life, whenever you like evolve, you get to a leveled out point for a little bit. And then once you get there and you start plateauing and you start getting stagnant, life kind of gives you a catalyst again, and it shakes things up. And so that shaking, that tension, that pressure from life creates a catalytic, motivation for evolution, right? So we have just come out of the catalytic push into this new up level. And instead of having a moment to catch our breath and just be in a state of appreciation for like how far we've come, we're not used to just sitting and being present in a good feeling, because we're always used to striving or struggling, right? So now that we've pushed through our pressure glass ceiling and we've come from our lower level into this up level, we're starting to like feel comfortable in it, to the degree where we almost passed over just appreciating the fact that we've up leveled it all, or like looking around at like, oh, okay, this is nice. And we are present as we're like making these choices, or we're trying to be. So we're using our free will, and we're intentionally creating this new path for ourselves, because this is a whole new timeline that we're on now. So in the midst of that though, it's like, I don't know, it's good to just stop for a minute and realize how far we've come, because we've already sort of skipped into a state of not appreciating. And we're like, oh, I want more. I want to be further along. I want to be comfortable. I want to have more already done for me. I want it to be easier. I want to be at the top of this level. And it's like, no, we just got to this level. So we still have a journey through this level, which is good. That angst is good. It drives us. It gives us motivation. It's just that we need to be able to transmute the discomfort and the dis-ease about that angst and channel it into inspired excitement to get in there and like take little sustainable action steps. So the vow, the stone, the eternal child, to me, this is like this essence of like being on this divine path. Like we're aligning with this higher self within us. And so our intentions, our attention, the energy that we're putting in things, are where we're directing our focus and our resources. It's like that puts out this order, this request, this vow, this thing that you have with the universe, this contract, where it's like, okay, I see that you're putting your heart and your passion and your energy and your magic into this. And so let's see if you're going to follow through, right? Let's see if you're going to keep this vow. So are you going to bring in your half by doing the work? Then the universe will back you up, right? So we're keeping promises to ourselves. We're staying true to our forward progression, but we're not getting off out of alignment by being angsty or dissatisfied or not grateful, or like not being mindful about managing our energy and our mindset, because it's so quickly we can forget, right? So the key here is to be in a state of appreciation and of joy. And there's something of real long-term value here. The stone is like, it's not easily worn down. It's strong. It's mineral. It's full of richness, but it's sustaining, and it's not easily worn down. And so the wise man builds his house upon the rock. The card and the booklet talked about how in Jewish mourning tradition, stones are laid on graves instead of flowers, which makes so much sense, because it's like, yeah, flowers are so fleeting, and the moment that they're picked, they're gone. Their expiration date, they just start to die and wither and decay. But a stone remains, just like the spirit and the soul. The stone endures. It continues to endure. So there's like this enduring value that you are contributing to as you do the transformational work on yourself, and as you show up for yourself, and as you really embody these qualities. It's like you are putting in a spiritual bank account so much goodness that's going to come back. Sometimes, like, if you start a business, say, and you put your heart and soul in it, and it just doesn't work out, and it tanks, right? Or you made a mistake and it just wasn't profitable. In Kabbalah, it teaches that if you can hold on to your certainty and not fall into despair and hopelessness about that business failure, that all the power and the blessing and the intention and the energy that you put into that, all that investment, it gets transferred into a rollover. It's just in your spiritual bank account. And so universe, spirit, source, saves that, right? For when something is in true alignment, that's going to be really blessed, that has real lasting value, and all the pieces are together, and everything's in order. When the timing is right, that energy will come back to you. But you have to keep that faith, and you have to stay certain. You can't resign yourself to despair. So keep showing up for yourself. Keep showing up for these, the dreams that you have. Keep showing up for the healing within the self. Because no matter how much work you put to the outer world and the material world, if you don't first shift from an internal level, from an energetic level, from a mindset level, from an emotional level, everything outside is going to be tainted. Because everything that we create begins with the seed level of consciousness. It all starts up here. So whatever the essence is of your vibration, when you get an idea and you start to take action from that, it's going to have that energy within it. So you want to be really consistent with yourself and with the universe and with others, right? And the things that you value and that are really meaningful, that you want to build upon, that you want to sustain, you need to do it in a sustainable way. Slow and steady wins the race, which is why the Knight of Pentacles shows up. The Knight of Pentacles is very detail-oriented. The Knight of Pentacles is grounded, dependable, responsible. They're a great student. They are a dependable helper, but they do not get in a hurry. And so this is about taking, getting, practical plan and taking step by step by step consistently, but don't hurry along. Don't try to cram for the final exam, right? Don't try to do it all at once. Just try to do it little bits at a time, and things they accumulate over time, and soon they get momentum, and then there's exponential growth. But just be slow and steady. Don't rush forward. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't be on and off, back and forth, hot and cold or whatever. Just be consistent, right? The full moon in Capricorn came in to town to help us all take on more of this energy of practical, forward-paced momentum. Making strategic plans and, editing around that. Like, for instance, me thinking, okay, I'm going to experiment with filming at a different time of day. For a long time, this nighttime has been a good time to utilize for my filming, but that's not always the case. So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to try to see if something else is more sustainable. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. It's like we're tweaking and seeing, what kind of works and what isn't. And we're shifting our attention and our focus and our resources into the things that we care most about. All right. Underneath the stone, we had the Feminine King of Pentacles. The Feminine King of Pentacles they have really gotten their kingdom in order, where they're savvy, business-minded. They know how to budget. They know how to allocate their funds and their resources and their attention and their energy. They know how to do that in a sustainable way that creates abundance, that creates a feeling of security. It's sustainable, and it's probably the kind of wealth that begets more wealth. It's probably scalable. So the Feminine King of Pentacles really knows how to, keep that financial kingdom secure and healthy, but also just that they know how to structure their routines and their habits in their material world around them, so that they're set up for comfort, success. They know how to use their resources wisely and live well because of it. And so because of that, they take very good care of themselves, very high self-worth. They can also take good care of other people as well, without putting themselves out, with healthy boundaries, without overextending. So, and then again, this is sustainable. This is like a person, or even like it's just an aspect of the self that's coming through, that's allowing us to grow things within our own inner world that are going to be long-term and sustainable and produce and yield a long-term value, like a lasting value within. It's like when you heal things within yourself, that is not a fleeting short-term benefit. Those are long-term benefits. Those are things that create value over the long term. So yes, there are other things right now that we are building that have potential to have long-term value, and they can be very valuable and yield great results. And then I feel like I want to read the stone. I've got this here ready to go. Okay. The stone, the eternal, the anchor, the rock. As an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of permanence, concreteness, and reliability. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us. as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. A single stone may see thousands of generations come and go. Therefore, it contains an ancient and eternal presence. The stone is best used to anchor our wild side, so no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. The stone tethers us to earth, helping us to ground and connect us to stillness, quiet, and peace. When this card appears, it is likely the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of our world. So yeah, this is also about really getting into stillness and quiet to cultivate that sense of inner peace. Because it's from there, when we have that inner stillness and quiet, that everything else can flow so freely. And when there's not a lot of distress, like even pain can come through if we are at peace with it. And that's how it can process and heal, right? We can face our fears because we have that deep sense of peace and certainty and serenity that whatever comes, like, we'll get through it, even if it's uncomfortable. So I think the stone helps us sit in that stillness. You know, a lot of people are very afraid to just be alone with themselves. They've never been, you know, still and quiet long enough to let everything start coming up from the inside, from deep within. And it's very intimidating because it can feel overwhelming at first. But as you let it wash through in waves, and you're working with these things and you're working through them and not just stewing on them, but you're like exploring and asking questions and going back to, you know, heal and reconsider things from the past and learn from them and let yourself off the hook and let others off the hook and try to find peace with it and forgiveness, right? That clears the way for so much more stability within like the self, and then that creates security and stability within the outer world as well. So when light, the stone is steadfast, loyal, committed, and present. When dark, the stone is weighted down, holding back and cold. To go deeper, Caspar David Friedrich's A Walk at Dusk. Build a cairn in nature. Find inspiration in gold-worthy stone egg forms. Okay, and then something about like keeping the inner child stoked, like that excitement stoked inside and alive. And, you know, a healed inner child sets us free, and it gives us like this free spirit where we're free to explore and take chances and take risks and make mistakes and be curious and playful and have joy and lightheartedness and not take life too seriously. And it gives us the inspiration and sort of the foolhardiness to put ourselves out there and get vulnerable and excited and, you know, not just assume the worst, right? It's that unjaded part of the self, the innocent excitement, right, of being uninhibited or trying something new. But the wounded child tends to be addicted to things, and it needs, it's very needy and needs a lot of validation and needs a lot of distraction to the degree of not like bringing variety, but numbing. Or avoiding or bypassing. And so there's a real need for a balance because we can't shut the child out, because then we act out. And then we have our soul starts to shut down and we lose the magic, and life becomes dull and sort of purposeless and despairing and boring. So the child is very sacred to keep alive and to keep healthy. And we need to nurture that child. And we need to let that child have fun and play and be joyous. And we also need to let that child cry and be afraid and be frustrated sometimes. And we need to be there for that child to soothe, right, that child. So we learn healthy ways to self-soothe. And we learn healthy ways to create security for this child and to create an environment that is safe for our inner child. And part of that is just like, part of it is showing up for the self, for the inner child within, and saying, you know what, I'm here for you. I'm going to make sure we're taken care of. I'm going to do the things that are required of me on a day-to-day basis so that I have a secure environment and that I feel emotionally nurtured and secure, and I can keep my love tank full. And that way my inner child isn't like sort of in a panic, like looking for anything and anyone to sort of soothe, right? We're learning how to self-soothe through self-love and self-care, and through healing, through transformation, and through building our connection with Source and the Creator. Because when that Creator, or when that relationship is strong with Source and Creator, no matter what the circumstances are in the outer world, we'll always feel taken care of, and we'll always feel watched over. And I believe that we truly are. And then it allows for the energy to sort of clear the way, the channel, instead of blocking it with tension and fear, because we have certainty and faith in the Creator. And really, most of the time, the challenges that we go through are only there as a simulation for us to be reminded that there's nothing to worry about, because Source is our provider. And when we remember that and we declare it out loud, it's like immediately like things just start flowing and start working out again. But it's about being in that state of peace and appreciation, because you can't, like, your vibration never lies, and the universe answers your vibration. Okay, Judgment was under the eternal child. And so those were connected, and Judgment upright is wonderful things are starting to happen. You have the ability to forge ahead and see what the future holds. Break away from conventional thinking and face life realistically. New vibrations let you see exactly what you'd like to be. By taking a good look at your life, you will be gifted with the vision to see ahead. So far, so good. You are being blessed with cosmic energies that will give you the guidance you need. No need for any unwanted ties. Now is the time to direct yourself and make all the changes you desire. So yeah, it's about like having this awakening, and like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, things are getting better. We're shaking it off. And yes, there are cycles of things coming back up and processing again. And it's always just going to kind of be that way. But right now, things are shifting for the better. Circumstances are improving, and things are coming into form. And so it's just about getting clear now about how we want to move ahead and taking steps in that direction. But definitely shaking off a feeling of stagnation or being completely like hopeless, like things are looking good and things are really shifting. And so it's just about like realizing that we are blessed and that seeds are well planted. And so it's about tending to those seedlings with intention and care and consistency. And then I'm going to read the meditation associated with Judgment card, because I think it's really, really nice. Or it's kind of like a prayer, really. Why am I here, dear Father? What is my purpose? Help me to rise above my daily thinking and reach the heavenly consciousness within me. Open the doors of my higher consciousness so that I may see my purpose here on earth. What souls must I touch with kindness? Who have I ignored in my daily task of pleasing myself? Let me accomplish my spiritual mission. Place before me all the things I have done and all the things I have not done. Give me the courage to look at myself and recognize what is lacking. Open my eyes, dear Father, and let me see my miserable existence. By simple prayer, let my soul be born again and see the work I have to accomplish. May the heavenly forces guide me to those in need, and in thy mercy allow me to begin new and worthwhile spiritual growth. As my body sleeps and prepares me for the following day, let my consciousness rise to the heavenly spheres and receive the gift of love, so that I may be strong in all that I have to do. Help me to forgive myself and to accept thy everlasting mercy. I love that. And then there was one more little meditative paragraph that goes with that. I want to share. All right. And an additional little prayer. Thank you, Father, for the awakening I feel inside me. How fortunate I am to be a child of God. Thou hast known my torment and struggle, and when I was in the darkness of despondency, thou didst show me the way. How grateful I am to know thy love. In Christ all things are possible. There is so much that I must learn and accomplish. Help me to completely restore my soul with thy bounteous love. Fill me with thy heavenly grace so that I may lift my consciousness to a higher level of understanding. I am blessed with the faith of knowing my Father, and I wish to walk the way of Christ. If it be thy holy will, let me help others who are searching for thy blessed presence. May this day be filled with continued joy of the Spirit. How glad I am to be alive. May every thought and action glorify thy holy name. Amen. All right, you all, I think that seeds are very well planted. There are beautiful things coming into form and blossoming for us. We are just being conditioned now to be tenacious. And you know what? Honestly, the best wines are made with grapes who come from difficult climates, not the easy ones. You know, the dry, arid climate, the grapes have to be tough. And those are the ones that end up the most flavorful and the most juicy. And so right now we are learning to be juicy grapes. And we're going through some kind of strict discipline from Saturn. And we're, pushing up against our growth edge, and we're feeling, tension and pressure. And that's just here for the sake of our evolution. So everything's all good. Keep going, keep believing in yourself. Keep your heart open and lighthearted and happy and joyous and in a state of appreciation. And when you're angry and when you are sad and when you are needing to cry, do that too. Be honest about that as well. Unburden yourself in prayer to your Heavenly Father or to Jesus Christ. Sometimes I like to incorporate Mother Mary and even Mary Magdalene and Holy Spirit. And so you can pray, talk also out loud to your angels and even to your higher self inside and ask for guidance. But yeah, use your prayers. It's the most powerful practice that we have. And I would say supplement that with some nice meditation and definitely get some good sleep, because sleep really restores the soul. Every night when we go to sleep, we have a mini version of Judgment Day, and we have this sort of surface level death that happens, and our soul goes to the upper realms, and it goes through a cleansing, and it's gets touches base with mission control and our spiritual team, and they discuss what's up on the boards for the next day. And yeah, we replenish and we cleanse, and then we get a chance to start over again tomorrow. So every day's a new day. All right, y'all, that is it for tonight. I'm going to now enjoy a shower, and I'm going to finish up cooking, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Ciao.